So now I'm going to show you how to do a hidden lid. So in order to hide your lid, you want it to be part of your design element. You don't want it to be a visual interruption. And so I'm just making my lid part of my design elements right now. So what I like to do when I am carving in shapes, I'm just carving in halfway deep probably, straight up and down with my cleanup tool. And then I'm going to bevel out some extra clay and get rid of it. And so then I can take some time and clean it up with a different cleanup tool of mine I have. And then I can even spend some time in making this transition a little bit more seamless by scraping away a little extra clay here. So, and one of the cool things about clay is you're just working with illusion. And so just by beveling it out, all of this part looks higher than that part, even though they're the same level. And you can do some more exaggeration with that as well. So just a small combination of adding and subtracting clay really does make that illusion really more pronounced. Okay, so now I'm going to make my hidden lid. And so I'm just going to use part of my design element. And so I'm just going right here. And I'm not going to bother to hide the rest of my hidden lid since this is just a demo piece. Okay, so now I have a nice hidden lid, except for this is going to slide off and on really easily. You bump it, it's going to slide right off. So you need to make yourself a flange. And so anytime I open up my piece and all of a sudden I have access and I can add my welding coil, I definitely take advantage of that and do so. So I'm going to take a quick minute and add that. Okay, so now it's time to add my flange. I have some clay here that is a similar consistency that I'm just going to use. This isn't quite long enough, so I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit because it's almost long enough. So, as usual, you got a score and slip. And so when you make your flange, you definitely want to make a nice, generous flange. You can see how tall this is, If you make a really narrow flange that is not very tall, like this tall, it's not going to really hold your lid on very well. So you want to err on the side of generosity and make your flange taller than you really think it needs to be probably. And then as usual, you need to score and slip and add your welding coil. And I'm going to make a nice and generous welding coil on this inside part because I'm actually not going to add a welding coil on the outside part because I want my lid to fit nicely. And if I add a welding coil there, it's going to fit a little too snugly. And so you want your lid to fit a little on the loose side. You don't want it super tight because it could warp in the kiln and in the firing process. And then you'll end up sanding it down and trying to make it fit, which is not fun. So you generally want your lid to fit a hair on the loose side. You don't want it super snug and tight. You want it to be pretty easy to pull on and off. And then blend in your welding coil. And then I would take a minute and clean up this edge. And actually, because there is a little bit of room here on these edges, I would go ahead and score and slip and add a welding coil. And then take a minute and clean up the inside of your lid so it doesn't look horrible. And then, if you wanted, you could also, this is a really nice touch, make it follow the contour of your shape. And there you have it. You have a nice hidden lid. And so I would just spend a little time with my line work here, clean it up a little bit better so that I don't have any weird gaps in here. And so if you didn't know that that was a lid, you might just think that that's part of the design and that there is no lid. And so the nice thing about a hidden lid is that way you don't have a visual interruption. Like this right here is not a hidden lid, and you've got this line that you can never hide, and it is a visual interruption. And so that's why you want to think about making hidden lids so that they work seamlessly with your design and that they're not a distraction.